everybody, and welcome to this edition of Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. And Sam and I have a special guest with us this evening. Sam, would you like to introduce our guest?
Yes, I would. The head baseball coach at CHS, Michael Thompson, our good friend, and nice to have you with us again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Right around the corner, things begin, right?
We do. We begin really quick. We've only had one full week of practice in. We started last Monday. Our scrimmage is set for this Friday already. And our first game is going to be next Tuesday at home versus Hagerstown, and then Wednesday we're on the road at Richmond. So we get right out the gate. You don't get much time at all, and the season hits us real quick.
You've been practicing for a while, though, haven't you, Michael?
We've had workouts starting since January. We're only able to go 2 days a week, 2 hours at a time.
Okay.
But that's minus all of our winter sport athletes, which is quite a few.
Yes.
So, a lot of our kids have had time to get prepared all indoors. But last week we got outside only twice. Looking at the weather for this week, it looks like we may only get out today and tomorrow. I think our scrimmage is up in the air for Friday. Depends on the amount of rain. But we're trying to get outside as much as we possibly can.
Okay, and you fellows are coming off of what kind of a season?
To be honest, a little bit disappointing of a regular season last year. I think we ended the season at 11-17. The previous year, it was almost the opposite of that. I think we were 17-12. So obviously you're thinking maybe we can get to 20 wins. And we just got out of the gate a little bit slow. I think it snowballed a little bit. We lost an incredible amount of one-run games.
Yes.
And in high school, you just don't see a lot of 1-0 baseball games. And we had, I think, 5 in the first 3 weeks. And we lost another couple of conference games by a run. So I think we lost, 7 games by 1 run. But at the end of the year, we started playing well, and more importantly, we won sectional last year.
Yes.
I think the first time since 2010 or 2012. At any sport, you want to be playing your best at the end of the season, and I thought we definitely did that.
Must have had some pretty good pitching for all those one-run
We did.
games.
We have a very good defense. We have very good pitching. It keeps us competitive, keeps us in games, and we have a tough schedule. And our conference is very good in baseball. But we just couldn't get the timely hits when we needed them last year. I think we beat Richmond 1-0 right out of the gate, and then I think we lost to Batesville 2 games, 1-0, and they were ranked top 10. So we were 0-2 in the conference already, and when we lost by a total of 2 runs. And we lost to Franklin County the following week, 1-0, and then we lost to them 7-6. So we were 0-4 and lost by a total of 4 runs.
Those games.
And so our pitching did a really good job last year. Our hitting just wasn't where we needed it to be, especially early in the year.
Timely hits weren't there.
They just weren't there. And we had our chances. And, there was a couple of those games. I remember Batesville, first inning, bases loaded, 1 out. And we didn't score. We just couldn't scratch that run across. But, I think right now, early in the year, and a lot of indoors, it's hard to tell. But I think we look stronger than we did a year ago. We look bigger. We're hitting the ball harder right now. We're more mature. We're going to have a very senior-heavy group, as in all of our sports this year have been heavy with the seniors. And, we're looking to have that experience pay off for us this year.
Sam, I know we're anxious for the season to get underway, and hopefully the basketball players are getting in shape.
We got them last week. So their arms will be a little behind where I'd like for them to be throwing-wise, but I think we'll be able to use them on the mound, but maybe not as many innings as we would like to see them at this point in time, but they'll come around. And that added 4 or 5 players for us right there from the basketball team.
Pretty athletic bunch.
They are a very athletic bunch, and not only athletic, they're solid in each sport that they play, but we've heard this over and over, but it's so true. Just so many good, outstanding young men, good community leaders, good role models, good students. Don't have to worry about them making dumb decisions outside of school, outside of athletics, and just a fun group to be around, and a pleasure to coach.
That makes you and your staff a little bit easier work, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And more than probably one of the things you want out of any senior group and your juniors and seniors is to be good role models to everyone else in the program. When freshmen come in, see how they work, see how they approach the game every day, see how they approach practice every day. and this group has been outstanding for that.
When the weather's not good, the field house is in use?
Yeah, absolutely. And field house is used quite a bit by
bet.
everyone right now. And, you know, it's a blessing to have that out there for us because in the past we didn't have anything like that. We were at Junior High South before that. We've been in the baseball program down at the old boys club down in the basement there.
Yes.
I remember many years ago when I helped Coach Tom Gable 20 years ago, we used the old grocery store here on the east side. Was it Mars or Cox's, Macy's?
Yeah.
We were in there when that building was empty. So we've been all over the place. I think Maplewood has been used at one point in time. So
Sure.
having the space, having 2 cages to hit each and every day. We have our mounds we're able to set up inside.
Sure.
Having the space to fit that many kids in there at once, you know, that's been a blessing.
And the many in our conference have those types of facilities. So
They do.
We were just kind of coming on board when we got ours.
Yeah, and I think the ones that don't have it are discussing it and looking into adding those things. And, you know, and it's utilized by everyone. You know, every sport is able to utilize that. If, you know, even football can go in and use it. If it's a rainy, lightning day, can't get outside, they're able to go in there and be able to run routes and condition and, you know, work on their game plan. So, you know, we're very fortunate to have that now.
You mentioned rain and lightning. Same rules apply with baseball that we have with football. There's
Yeah,
30 minutes after the last.
Yes. So
Scene.
any outdoor sport, they're all the same.
Okay.
What about, I was going to ask you, we go deep with teams in baseball. We go clear down to the middle school, right?
We do. Middle school baseball was started basically as a club, basically when the senior group started. So what would that be, 6 years ago? Now it's an actual sport. Mr. Havlicek's been doing a good job here lately, adding more games to the middle school schedule. They had tryouts right before we did, and so
Okay.
a little over a week and a half ago. I believe we have right around 13 7th graders playing and about the same, about 12 or 13 8th graders playing.
That's great.
Each of them are going to play 16 to 18 games roughly each this spring. So, you know, that's a very important piece to add to your program, especially here. And it's not just Connorsville, it's a lot of communities. We've lost our Babe Ruth program. You know, so when kids are turning 12, they're done until they get to high school. Well, now they're 15, so they're taking 2 or 3 years off. So having the middle school program is extremely important to be able to sustain and build a program. So that's been a very good positive for us.
Right. And you have a freshman team?
Not quite a freshman team. We're going to have a mixture. Our numbers are up this year. I think we're up to 32 total players at the high school, about 25, 26 middle school players. So, you know, we've got about 55 plus in the program this year, so that is good. The numbers are up. We're adding some C team freshman games because JV is probably going to carry on and off with them 21, 22 players.
Okay.
You can't play that many in a game. It's not fair. You know, kids are not going to
Sure.
get the playing time that they need to develop. So at this point, I think we have added 8 freshman C team games. And I'm talking to Rushville about adding a couple more, so I'm hoping to get 10, 12 games for them as well. And our JV team plays roughly, I think on their schedule, about 23, 24 games is what they have total right now. So it's looking good.
That's good. All the teams can't play on the CHS field, though, can they?
No,
Use
that's-
other facilities?
That's our biggest dilemma right now.
Okay.
And me trying to work out schedules for everybody. I know everybody's asking for schedules from me, but it's hard. We got one baseball field.
Yes.
And we're basically now almost 3 high school teams plus 2 middle school teams. So JV plays on our field, and if they add a game or we take away a game or I add a game, it affects their schedule, which affects the middle school schedules. We're very fortunate that we're using the old Babe Ruth field. The Parks Department allows us to use this.
That's good.
So the middle school is predominantly there. The JV's down there a little bit for practice, and a couple games they have to play down there as well. But, you know, we are in need of another field at this point in time.
Sure.
Just hope that it doesn't flood down there. That's
Yeah.
another thing you have to deal with.
Absolutely. You know, it did just flood a couple weeks ago. So
Still, though, a nice field.
it is a nice field, you know, and it's amazing. It's underwater for 2 days a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
The water sucks right back out, and within a few days, we're down there practicing on it. So it actually does a pretty good job.
That it was really upgraded when we had the World Series here, and that's
Yes.
been a number of years ago. But,
It is.
And it's unfortunate that Babe Ruth's not playing there now, but things have happened. I think the soccer field south of town's taken a lot of players back.
It has.
Back
Yeah.
when back when I used to help Fuzzy with the team down there at Babe Ruth, that we noticed that a lot of our kids were coming from soccer practice, and yeah, it was kind of discouraging in a way for the baseball. And I'm not saying anything bad about soccer, but it's just a competition.
Right. And it's a fact. I mean, you look out there and soccer has spring soccer and fall soccer, and I think they have over 300 kids out there playing each season out there. So, good for them, but, you're always looking to build your program and build your numbers up as well. Anything that we can do to make things fun. I think a lot of kids, and this is just my opinion, soccer's fast moving, it's nonstop, there's a lot more pace, and baseball's a little bit slower, and if I'm in the outfield and I'm 8 years old, I may not have many balls hit to me, and I get bored pretty easy. It's not for everyone, but I think the kids that do play the game, they play it because they love to play the game. And I really try to teach and going back to just respecting the game, respecting the history of the game, really understanding how to play. And that's something that we want our middle school staff to start instilling in kids at a younger age, and truly understand why we do things a certain way. They don't always understand how important it is to keep runners on first base. Why do balls hit to the outfield? I don't always have to throw it home to try to get an out when the guy's advancing and you're only up one run, and now one more hit. This guy's it's the little things of that nature of understanding how to play the game.
The strategery.
Yes. And, there's a lot to it, and a lot of people, and I think a lot of kids can learn when you watch baseball. And you listen to very good announcers. They do break it down and they explain things, why they threw the ball here, why the bunt defense is in a certain situation, why a hit and run was called at this time, why it wasn't at this time. There's a lot of just little details that's different maybe from some of the other sports.
Who helps you, Michael, the coaching?
Right now on the high school staff, I have Jason Cloyd that's been in the program for many years. He's a varsity assistant. Brandon Shear is with the varsity as a volunteer. Very excited to have Cameron Rao, young former player, new teacher. He's a young guy that came through the program. He's going to be our JV coach. Colton Massey, former player, is going to be a JV assistant coach, and Paul Wojcik is volunteer coach, and he may take on the freshman C team games as well.
Okay, so a lot of good guys helping you.
We do. We have a very good staff right now. Very excited about it.
Nice to have the local guys coming back.
It is. And Paul's not from here, but all of us played baseball here.
Sure.
And Paul's from Florida, I believe. So other than that, everyone has been through the program, and I think that's not always important, but it's very nice to have that.
Paul's a great guy, though.
He is. He's very good.
Dedicated.
Very dedicated. I think the kids get along with him. He gets along with the kids, and that's, step number one a lot of times in coaching. Earning the respect from the kids, and they respect you. That it goes a long way.
Well, I know you're anxious to get the season underway.
We are. It's always hard in the beginning because we haven't been outdoors, and like I said, it's just like that, and the season starts. But I know we're going to be outside today and tomorrow. I'm going to have to probably try to slow practice down a little bit, but try to go live, get our pitchers on the mound. They need to see hitters. Hitters need to see live pitching. Having the scrimmage is extremely important. That's why I'm worried about the weather for Friday. Getting that scrimmage in before we get to our first game.
Is that with Shenandoah?
It is with Shenandoah, at Shenandoah.
Okay. Okay. Practice, the kids have practice, and then you help them along, correct any mistakes that they are making?
Yeah, practice kind of varies day by day, offense, defense. Defensively, what we're going to do today, like I said, and utilizing the time that we have outside right now is very important, trying to get everything in. Good thing is I have an experienced group, so being able to just to review and go over things and just, getting the reps in right now. But like, for example, today, basically we're going to short infield in, and then we're going to review our bunt defenses today. And then a really quick round of batting practice on the field, and then try to go live. Since we're doing bunt defense today, we're going to do first and third situations tomorrow, concentrate on outfielders tomorrow, and again, try to go live again tomorrow and use this time outside.
So you break it down into different segments.
We do. Whether it's infield play, outfield play, a combination of relays, cutoffs, you got bunt defense, you have first and third situations. We also break it down by positions. Outfield will have their own area of practice maybe to get work in. You have your first and third baseman getting work in, your middle infielders getting work in, pitchers getting their bullpens in every week. That's a very important piece to me. It's just arm care, getting your arm in shape.
Sure.
And that's why very important that our pitchers are able to come starting in January. We use those 4 hours a week, and they have bullpens every Monday and Thursday. We have a short day, then a long day, and every week we add the number of the pitches on the long day. So they started out, on a long day in the beginning, it was 20 pitches, and last week we were up to 70. So in every week I just keep bumping it up, and then, that's very important to get your arm in shape.
You have to keep count of the pitching in a game, don't you?
We do. You have pitch counts. When you hit certain levels, then you have to sit a certain number of days.
Yes.
So we keep track of that each day, and sometimes that's strategy, especially when you got in the sectional.
I can imagine.
I mean, we have 2 games today, and here's my number 1 pitcher, and he's at his pitch threshold for this much rest. Do I go over? Do I pull him? We saw that happen with one of our opponents in the sectional. They had a lead, pulled their starting pitcher out, wanted to save him and bring him back, and they ended up losing the game.
Okay.
Part of the strategy. What do you think? And and I can't second guess that coach in that moment. He felt like he was going to do what he had to do to be able to win the next game. But I always feel like you have to win this game.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
You have to win this one, or I'm not playing the next one. And that's more my approach, but sometimes your approach can change on gut feeling at that moment. But yeah, you do have to watch the number of pitches that are thrown.
Sure. How about new rules? Any kind of?
Nothing major, no major changes this year.
Okay.
I think last year they added you can have a player/DH. I might have been the only person that used it that we played. And an example would be maybe I have a stud number 1 pitcher, and he's a very good hitter, but he cannot play any other position very well. So then I start him as a pitcher, and if I end up relieving him, the relief pitcher comes in as the pitcher, but he gets to stay in as the DH, even though he's exited the game. So that was one new change that started last year. And I did use it a couple times last year with an outfielder. He'd be the starting right fielder /DH, make a substitution for defense, but he would stay in as the DH and be able to stay in the game to hit.
Okay.
A lot to manage. I guess that's why they call it manager. And
Oh, it is. I mean, it's extremely important to have good assistant coaches. I don't care what sport it is. That's true. But that's the way we break up our staff. Brandon's new with us this year. Coach Eric Myers is with us the last couple of years, but I was in charge of the pitchers. I mostly call the pitches and keep track of the pitches. Eric was in charge of infield. Jason was in charge of outfield. Jason's in charge of calling the defense, the bunt defense, first and third situations. And that way, I can't do it all. And you just rely on those people to make the decisions. And a lot of times Jason would say, hey, what do you think, first and third? You make the call. Whatever, you make the call and we go with it. But it's very important. I don't care what the sport is. You have to have good coaches all the way around.
What about your reserves after we get through the seniors? I know you'll be rebuilding then?
Yeah. So right now on this team this year, we have, if I can get it all right, putting pressure on me, senior Chance Bentley catching for us. And he's actually signed and going to go on and play at University of Evansville.
Yes.
Senior Braden Likens at first base. Senior Braxton Myers. Senior Gavin Pearson. They're at short and second, kind of back and forth. Senior Chandler Fox at third base. We have outfielder senior Gavin Jones. We have senior Braden Pearson, Taco. And then probably, maybe in the outfield, we have sophomore Colton DeVord. We have Brady Cloyd that plays infield for us, plays second base and first base for us last year. Sophomore Xander McHenry did not play last year. He'll be in the mix to maybe be with us / JV a little bit. Freshman Zane Bentley, the same situation. Juniors Trot Davidson, Cam Schoenfeld, maybe going back and forth, and possibly another freshman in Brandon.
Okay.
So it's important I talk to that group that may be going back and forth, that they're younger. It's important that they play. They get at bats, they get reps, they get in the field. If they can't get time with us, they need to play JV. Because as you said, I just named off however many seniors. The JV is going to be the varsity next year.
Sure.
You know, minus right now, Brady Cloyd and Colton DeVord would be the only two coming back off of varsity, true varsity at this minute. So it's important they get reps somewhere.
Absolutely.
We've already been talking about getting people in positions that we think they would be playing next year. They need to be playing that on the junior varsity level this year. But I also need subs with us. So some of them are going to have to rotate games in and out. And that's what I did last year. I just said, these two players come to varsity today, you go to JV tomorrow. You two JV players come with me today. You're going to go back down there tomorrow. But I think we have the pieces necessary, to fill in next year. We'll be lacking experience next year. But I think we will have a good, solid junior varsity team this year.
Sure.
And I think 7th and 8th grade has the pieces together. When you put those two together, when they're sophomores, juniors, and seniors, I think that could be another really good group right there.
The guys you mentioned, some pretty good athletes, some 3-sport athletes there that, and I know that, and we've talked about this, that college coaches love 3-sport athletes, but you've got a lot on your team.
Absolutely, we have a lot of them, and if they don't play 3, they play 2. Brady plays 2 with basketball. Colton DeVord good at tennis.
Schoenfeld swims.
He swims, yes. Trot played football this year. Likens went back to football. Chances in football. So they're all. I can't think of one. It's just one sport. Right? Chandler Fox plays tennis. So they all are at least 2, and a lot of them are 3-sport athletes. Yes.
What position is Chance Bentley? Will he play for Evansville?
Be a catcher.
Okay.
Yeah. He's solid behind the plate. As good as anyone around here. I do really like Franklin County's catcher as well. But Chance is special. You don't get to see that many players that are that skilled in their specialty position. But he hits the ball very well. But his receiving, his arm, his blocking skills, and I came into baseball, he was in 8th grade. I think he was in 8th grade. When he came in as a freshman, we got hit with COVID. He didn't get to play, and I've always told Chance, he has the skills already for catching, and he has a catching coach that he goes to. My knowledge in catching, I'm not going to make him a better skilled catcher, but my job with him is to make him a better baseball player catcher, a better leader catcher. They're your quarterback.
Tough position.
It's a tough position, but they are your quarterback on the field. They need to be your leader on the field, and I feel like that's what I've tried to do with him more than anything is teaching him to understand the game, how to handle your pitchers, making your pitchers feel comfortable. I was a former pitcher, so I know I could relate to him as far as I like this catcher because he made me feel comfortable. I don't like this catcher because he doesn't make me feel comfortable. And those are the guys that are going to end up catching because you want your staff to feel comfortable with who's behind the plate.
How big of a step up is it from high school to college?
Major.
Okay.
It is major.
Especially a place like Evansville.
Especially a place like Evansville. And, they're going to go play the SEC teams. They're going to go play, and their conference is good as well. The top half of their conference is, you're going to have a couple teams possibly ranked in the top 20. In their conference alone, and they're going to go play teams like Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, South Carolina, IU. and they're going to play IU every year, Purdue. So yeah, it's a different ball game at that point in time.
Best of luck to Chance and all the other fellows that
Yeah.
get to go to college and play baseball.
Yeah, it's very special. I don't care what level, Division III, NAIA, Division II, Division I. If you're able to play at the next level in any sport, that's a big deal.
Yeah. We have talked a bit about your other job at CHS, or one of your jobs at CHS is the college program.
Yeah, I'm in charge of the early college high school program at the high school, and it's been growing over the years and
Yes.
very successful. I teach business half a day and take care of that program the other half of the day right now. And it's just busy time right now. When you start a sport anytime, there's just so many things to take care of. I mentioned calendars earlier and practice schedules and ordering your apparel and making sure that your bus times are taken care of, and a parent meeting, a rules meeting, a fundraising, and there's a lot to take care of. A lot of things that coaches have to take care of behind the scenes that fans don't have a clue. Of
Right.
what really goes on the day of making your plans and getting things squared away for the season. Planning if you're going to have team dinners. We'll have a team dinner next week before our first game.
Okay.
Like I said, we have a fundraiser coming up this week, a parent meeting coming up this week. So
Laundry?
laundry, luckily I don't take care of that one.
Okay.
The kids get to take their laundry home. Parents take care of that one. Yes.
That's a good thing.
It's a mom's job, huh?
Mom or dad, or I tell the kids they need to learn how to do it themselves too.
Yeah.
How about some 50-hour days, Michael?
Yeah, it is.
That might help a little bit.
Yeah, it would help a little bit right now, and some sunshine and some warm weather. That goes a long way as well.
Well, we wish you guys the best of luck. It's a long season, isn't it? It goes from...
It's long as we play 4-5 games a week,
Yes.
but the season is very short, as in it's basically 2 months. And in about 7 weeks we have 28 games scheduled, and then the state tournament starts. So, our goal right now is I hope the kids are hungry to get back to winning a sectional to get to that regional. We talked about taking it one step farther each and every year. When I first started 5 years ago, I talked about wanting to be one of the top most fundamental teams in our conference and be at the top half of our conference, and I think we're there. And we talk about wanting to win sectionals. Last year, the year before, we got to the sectional final. Last year, we were lucky and able to win the sectional, and now I want to be able to go and win a regional now.
Okay.
So,
Where would that be played?
last year, you're going to ask me the city, and I can't even think of it, but it's down near Silver Creek, Sellersburg.
Sellersburg.
Okay.
I can't think of the name of the field right off the top of my head, but it's where they filmed part of the movie A League of Their Own. Old stadium, beautiful.
Gosh.
Loved being there. It looked like the old college or professional fence with all the advertising all the way around
Okay.
it. Old stadium, what Richmond's used to be like.
Yes.
When it was taken care of, and it was nice. So, we want to make it back there. We looked. It's hard to win a sectional though. And our conference, like I mentioned earlier, is very good in baseball.
That's great.
So, it's difficult, but that's our goal.
What about sectional? Where is that?
This year it's going to be at Franklin County.
Well, it's just a hop, skip, and the jump
Yes.
from here. So.
And we were lucky last year when sectional final. We played 2 games on that day because of rainouts, but it was a huge crowd. I think we had the 5th highest revenue of sectionals last year in the state of Indiana at the one at Rushville, and a lot of that was because of our Connersville fans that followed, and it was packed all the way around that entire ballpark. So great atmosphere.
Yes.
Hopefully it'll be the same way this year when we're over at Franklin County.
Michael, thanks a lot.
Okay.
Best of luck to you and your kids and coaches and everybody, and we'll see you in the winner's circle.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks everybody for watching this edition of the Spartan Sports Report this evening here on TB3. Good night.